If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them.
Everything that I have right now, I know what it's like. The life that I want, I don't know what that's like yet.
You have to be willing to take the short-term sacrifices for the long-term profit.
Yeah, what are you willing to let go to lift off? If you want to stay poor, then avoid tough conversations.
2025 is here, but the question is, are you going to win this year? Whether you want to earn your first 100K or your first million, we're going to give you the exact mental framework that took us from average Joes to millionaire bros. And make sure you stay to the end because we're going to give you some money tips to help you thrive in 2025. All that plus more in today's episode.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a very, very special episode of the Melanin Money Show. Why is it very special? For a couple of reasons. Number one, this is our first in-person episode of the year.
Yes.
Right? And number two, the elephant in the room. We have had a very busy ending to the year. And for our loyal listeners that still listen over the last several weeks, we appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Now, we still had content.
Yeah, we still had content.
Right, content that was produced on a weekly, but it wasn't necessarily new. So we just wanted to address that. We know people have been still getting value out of the episodes, which because maybe some people are new to us, but we just wanted to address that and let you know that will not be the trend.
Yes.
In 2025.
Matter
of fact, that's the other part of the good news, right?
Yeah.
This is also the last time that you'll see us in any other studio space, unless we're traveling outside of our own, because I'm glad to say that Melanin Money finally has a home after almost 3 years.
Yes, Melanin Money has a home. What do we call it in a podcast studio?
Melanin Money Studios, I think.
Melanin Money Studios?
Yeah, we'll probably come up with something more creative. Matter of fact, let us know in the comments, what should we call our podcast studio?
And
right?
wait till y'all see it.
Wait till y'all see it.
Wait till y'all see
right?
it.
And we should probably even do a whole other episode in the power of partnership, right? Because Carter was traveling for the whole month of December, basically, right? And so before he left, I was like, kind of gave him a quote. I was like, yo, it's probably going to cost about this. He's like, what? I was like, bro. I was like, this is our studio, right? We got to put a little something into it.
Yeah.
But because we know each other's strength zones, right? We might have reactions into the moment. Like he might tell me something about an ad budget. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He was like, okay, cool. Yeah. This your lane. Yeah. I'm going to let you do your thing, right? And so I wasn't even going to show him a picture. I just wanted to see it in person. I sent him a picture a couple days ago. He was like, okay. Understood.
Money well spent, brother.
Understood. So I hope y'all have the same reaction when y'all see it. But anyway, man, bro, how you been, man? It's first time we see each other in person.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other in about a month, which is crazy, man. I'm good, man. I'm happy. I haven't been this motivated for a new year.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Probably the last 5 to 10. I could be a president in a moment, bro, but I can probably say I haven't been this excited about New Year probably in the last decade.
I think the last time I've been this excited for the year is the year we met after in 2019. I think maybe, but then it was 2020. So like before we knew the pandemic was coming.
Yeah, so 2020 was probably 2020 probably last year I was this excited for a new year. Then that got really crazy.
But to your point, like just ecstatic, right? Have a ton of self-awareness around the areas of opportunities that, we need to take ownership for the things that we can do to improve, but they all feel within our grasp, right? And if we buckle down and do what's necessary, we can win and impact in a major way. So I'm super, super excited.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been this prepared for a new year in a very, very long time. I spent the month of December, the entire month, planning for 2025. What I need to do. What do I need to add to my plate? But more importantly, what I need to take off my plate so that I can become a better person. So I think what we could do for the listeners is they haven't seen us live in a long time. Let's give one personal and one business goal each for 2025.
Okay. One personal goal is I want to really, really improve my golf game dramatically, right? I hired a coach. She's here in Texas. Playing in the tournament. Well, you're going too, so you better learn the game.
Okay.
We're playing in the tournament in March in Dubai. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to just. I can.
Where I'm at play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like where I'm at right now, I could play. It'd be fine and everything. Whatever. I want them to be like, dang. I want them to be chasing me out there. So I really want to really dramatically improve my golf game. So I hired a coach. And anytime you want to improve something, you have to validate that with your wallet. Yeah. Right. So I'm doing that. In business goals, I just want to have so many testimonials, right, for the work. I think we do some great work. It's one thing for us to say it. It's one thing for our team members to be excited about what we do. But I want the world through our clients' eyes to understand the power of what we're doing. We've shared some milestones periodically about helping our clients improve their net worth by $100 million in 2024. But I just want y'all to be able to hear firsthand how the work that we're doing is really changing lives, right? Because I don't want to have to tell anybody about the work that we're doing. I want our clients to be able to say, hey, look, I was able to improve my net worth. I was able to pay off my debt. I was able to create my generational wealth plan. So my goal is to have no less than 100 new testimonials for the work that we're doing in 2025.
Got it. Okay, cool. My personal goal is to do 75 hard this year.
Okay. When do you start?
2 days ago.
2 days ago. So it's already started.
It's already started, brother.
Okay. So no drink tonight.
No, brother. Trust me. After December, I'm good. But yeah, I mean, I haven't. It's something I've been dancing around doing, but the no drinking part, I was like, that's just not reasonable. But
yeah.
The goals I set this year is going to require a version of me that's not hungover at all. So I started that. I'm excited about it. So I need to know what that golf tournament is in Dubai because I need to be done with 75 hard by then. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And then the business goal, man, to hit the goal that we set.
Hit the goal that we set.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah, enough said. Okay.
Enough said. Right. That's why I didn't say that one.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Other than that, let's get into a couple of current events and then let's just dive right into the episode.
Let's get it.
Cool. So a couple things that I saw that was pretty interesting. I saw that I think Apple has to pay like a $95 million fine because Siri was like erroneously activated on people's iPhones and they were gathering data that basically the user didn't agree to. And so now there's a class action lawsuit and Apple is agreeing to pay $95 million for that breach of privacy.
Drip in a bucket.
In the grand scheme of things, dripping the bucket. And the interesting thing about that for like these major corporations, even banks, when they get hit with these fines, is like, I feel like sometimes they go into it like knowing like, I mean, the worst case, the fee is going to be $100 million. Yeah. By the time they figure it out, oppress us, we going to make $200 billion. Yeah. What is it, right? Yeah. I don't know whether that's good or bad, but it just goes to show you that like when you're playing the game at the highest level, a $95 million fee being a drop in the bucket is crazy. Mm-hmm. Right. But I think I find interesting about it is supposedly with the new rollout of Siri, it's supposed to integrate with like ChatGPT, it's supposed to be Apple Intelligence. So I'm curious if like the data that they got almost gave them the ability to create it. And they feel like, well, shoot, I'm willing to take that hit on the chin to get that data.
On one of those acts, forgive this not permission type things.
Exactly.
And they're like, yeah, the money we're going to make off of it, it's fine.
Right.
It's fine.
So I'm almost curious, like, if that was their MO. But nonetheless, shout out to Apple for having $95 million that they can just, piss in the wind, basically.
I'm assuming that money's not going to the consumer.
I think there's like the individual might get a maximum of like $20. Like if you go through the process and remember that there's not junk mail and fill out the affidavit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so more of the story is no, most of it's not. But I thought that was interesting. Another one on point with 75 hard is alcohol stocks.
I saw that, yeah.
Are actually taking a dip because the Surgeon General said that alcohol should have a cancer label on the bottle. So now people are like, oh, okay, that's not good. As if we didn't know already that alcohol probably wasn't the best thing. Yeah. But as a result, markets have reacted and alcohol stocks have taken a dip.
It's crazy that you say that because I didn't know that news dropped when I made this statement. When I was out in Bali, all the cigarette packs have that like lung cancer on them. And people and like it was a couple in front of me like buying 2 packs of cigarettes with the lung cancer on the box. I'm just like, yo, like, and I talked to my homie. I said, bro, it's crazy how like people still buy cigarettes with that on the cover of the cigarette.
Right.
He said, like, would you stop drinking Don Julio if they had like a kidney on there or something? I was like, touche, brother, touche. So
yeah. So what we voluntarily subscribe to, knowing the outcomes, is kind of interesting.
Yes.
But nonetheless sounds like you're gonna get 75-day break.
Yes.
I did 6 months last year.
Yeah, that was my thing. Like I was like, because me and you are super competitive. Right. And that was really the case. I had no intentions on doing it.
Yeah.
And then when I said he went 6 months last year without drinking. If I can't go 75 days, it's a problem.
Which is like a month and a half, basically. I mean, 2 months, two and a half months. 2.5 months.
It's not 2.5, brother.
2.5.
Yeah. So that was really a push. That was like you motivating me from afar. But yeah, man, we gonna see.
Cool. Well, you know what? Monday I'm gonna start 75 hard.
Yeah. I thought about texting you when I started it. Yeah. But I was like, it might not even be a challenge to you, bro.
I mean, that part won't be. But no, yes. So Monday when we're in Vegas, I'm gonna start. So I'll be a few days behind you, but I'm gonna start that too. Cool. Which means, for my math, you should be good before Dubai.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So what are we talking about today? We gotta make this good. It's been a while.
Yes.
So
yes. So I want to talk about the 5 mental frameworks that me and you have used.
Yeah.
From since we know each other 4 years ago, that has helped us go from what we were
4 years ago. But you should shortchange your relationship. Going on your 6.
6.
Yeah. 2019.
2019. Fair enough. So it's the mental frameworks that I know me and you both use, whether we know we use them or not, we're going to see. But that helped us go from where we were to the successes that we are today. And like for anybody that thinks like, oh, this is fluff, this is about like mindset and how you think, like there's a reason one of the most popular books is Think and Grow Rich.
Facts.
Because you can't become a millionaire outside till you become a millionaire inside. Because usually the biggest enemy, usually everybody's biggest enemy is the inner me, because you don't know that you can become the person that you're trying to become. So before you say this is fluff, I guarantee you, if you take one of these and act on it, you will be better off next year than you were this year. So
I almost don't understand why people think mindset and mental frameworks are fluff, because which they do, but I don't understand why, because we all know the information. Like if I ask anybody, how do you lose weight? They would say, well, you eat less calories than you burn. Why are so many people overweight? Right? It's like we know all the information, or at least on a basic level.
Or if not, you can use AI to figure it out.
Right. So it's clearly not the information. It's something deeper, right? And actually, it would be dope. Maybe I can squeeze some of these points in on this podcast, but I have 3 frameworks that I've recently refined that around beliefs, behaviors, and boundaries. Okay. But yeah, I might be able to squeeze some of that context in on this episode.
All right, bet. So the first one I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to give a story for this one because I think it's best to give a story before I drop the one-liner. So my first mentorship group I joined, it was called True Mentors, and it was back when I had just started. And everybody in the program was new entrepreneurs. Maybe made our first 10,000 in our business. Maybe
the first big 10.
Maybe made the first 10,000. That's a lot of money. Like you start a new business. So we're all new, and one of the coaches there, he said, "Hey guys, we're doing exercise. All you all in the room are fairly new entrepreneurs. So one thing I want you all to do is to, entrepreneurship can be a game of just taking. So I want you all to take out a sheet of paper and write out what you are not willing to give up to achieve this dream business of yours, right? Okay. Some of y'all not going to give up time with your family. Some of y'all not going to give up the gym. Some of y'all not going to give up, fantasy football leagues or whatever. Just like write down your boundary list now so that you know before you get too deep in the business. So he gave like 10 minutes and like writing away. I'm like, he's like, no, guys, get creative. Like, so I'm writing down, okay, I don't want to give up my fantasy football. I don't want to give up gym. I don't want to give up time with my family. I don't want to give up traveling. I don't want to give up all these things in pursuit of my dreams. And then he was like, okay, cool. He said, everybody got their list? He said, all right, hold them up. We held him up and we looked around. He said, all right, cool. He said, now, here's what I need you all to understand. You all have a list in your hand of things you're not willing to give up to achieve your dreams. I need you all to understand that the longer the list, the shorter your chances.
Ooh, he was preaching that day. What's his name? Shout out to that brother.
I said, bro, and like it was so crazy. He got so excited about this list. Yeah. And then to drop the ball on us, like the longer the list, the shorter your chances.
You might gotta run that.
Your dream.
You might gotta run that.
Yeah.
We might gotta run that one.
Yeah. In April.
Yeah.
And it was just, and I never forget that moment, because ever since that moment, like I realized that whatever you're not willing to give up, that is what the person that's gonna beat you is willing to give up to achieve the same things that you said you wanted. So as we go into 2025, like I need y'all to make this same list, but also like when you look at this list, you need to refine it, because the longer the list, the shorter your chances. And if you say you want the things that you say you want, you have to be willing to take the short-term sacrifices for the long-term profits.
Yeah, what are you willing to let go to lift off, right? And so it's like, just think about it on a logical level. This ain't philosophical. If you're about to run a race and you got a book bag full of whatever, bricks, weights, whatever, who you think is gonna run faster, right? The person that got 10 bricks, right, in their book bag, or the person that got 2, right? And the brick just symbolizes whatever it is that you're holding on to that you refuse to let go of, that's gonna liberate you to get to that next step. It's not a loss, it's a liberation. The only way the ship can set sail is if you remove the anchor. If the anchor is holding it down, you're not gonna be able to go, right? And so I think people need to understand that, because people be holding on to stuff for so long because out of tradition, out of whatever it is, I'm used to it. But like the thing that the mental frame that really helped me is like everything that I have right now, I know what it's like. The life that I want, I don't know what that's like yet. Right. So why wouldn't I be okay even if it's temporary, even if I just want to see what it's like, why wouldn't I be okay pushing this to the side, letting this go so I get a chance at experiencing the life that I want? Right? You already know what this feels like.
You already know what it feels like. You already know what going out to the club feels like. You already know what getting bottle service feels like.
Right.
You already know what that feels like.
All that will be there when you make it. One of my homies used to always say that. All that will be there when you make it. So for God forbid, you get your dream life. You're like, you know what? I was cool with the flat stomach. I ain't really need a six pack. You can start eating a little more again. Yeah. Right? But where the regret will come from is if you never touch it and then you don't know. Right? So for example, I'm not gonna spill our candy in the lobby, but we're gonna do something for ourselves this year, right? And there might come a time in my life where I might not still care about whatever that is, but I would rather know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I would rather know and be able to tell that story versus being like, man, I wonder what it's like to be able to have that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's what I want for everybody. Like, I just want you to know, because then you're operating from a place of no regrets and you truly have an understanding of what is for you and what isn't. So, yeah, I think we're definitely using that in April.
Yeah,
at our client event.
For sure.
Right.
So that was number one. I think that's really profound. Like, guys, see what you want to let go of, let it go to get to the next level. Okay.
Big facts.
The next one is, this is another gut punch, so just get ready, y'all. The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Do more, complain less.
Big facts.
And I'll just give a quick story to drive this point home for me. So, up until about 2 years ago, I was always the guy that would go to the gym with a tank top on, but jogging pants, because I was never confident about my legs. I had the toned upper body, but these legs had zero.
Shoulders were shouldering.
Shoulder was shouldering, but the
legs, the quads
was a little shaky. Yeah, calves a little shaky. You know, and I remember, like, you know, just like being fed up one day. I was like, yo, like I'm just tired of being embarrassed about my legs, right. And you know, I would do leg day every now and then, but like I never squatted because I hate squatting, and I definitely hate deadlifting. Yeah. So those two things I'm never doing. Yeah. And so when I moved to Columbia, I hired a trainer. And, you know, our first leg day, he looked at my legs. He was like, we got work to do.
Got to balance this thing out.
Yeah, got to balance this thing out. And he said, today, all we're going to do is squats and deadlifts. Mm-hmm. He said, we'll do 10 sets of 10 on squat, 10 sets of 10 on deadlift.
Wow.
When he saw how much my body couldn't take that, that was our workout regimen for twice a week for 2 months.
Wow.
Every time I went to the gym, it was 10 sets of deadlifts, 10 sets of squats. 10 sets of 10, by the way. So that's 100 reps on each one, and I was miserable, bro. Miserable. But like, fast forward 12 months later, I have the most defined legs I have ever had in my life, and now my legs are actually equally, if not more, defined than my upper body. Yeah. And the magic I was looking for was in the work I was avoiding.
Yeah, and that's so like it's so powerful on so many levels, because I mean, I think fitness is always a great analogy because it's so tangible, right? You can literally see it. But it's just like, people will hire a coach or whatever, and then like they won't get the result that they're expecting, and the coach might ask them like, okay, well, did you do this? Well, I didn't do it all the way. Well, did you do that? Well, I mean, I did some of it, right? It's like, the reason why you're not getting the result is because you didn't do it as prescribed. Here's the biggest misconception I think most people have, right? They think about success like, oh, if I was doing nothing and I do some of it, I should get some of the results. The fallacy in that thinking is like baking a cake, because you don't know which ingredient that you're omitting is the one that's essential to get that outcome. Right? If it was sprinkles, sure, the cake will still end up fine and you're just missing the sprinkles. That's what a lot of y'all think. Well, sure, I still have a cake, I just want to have the sprinkles. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you have no idea because you've never done it before. You don't know the requirement of all the ingredients in that recipe. And by you avoiding things or skipping things, that's why you don't get the results. Like, you think if you do some of it, you'll get some of the results. Sometimes you get some of it and get none of the results. Yeah. And let me tell you the most frustrating place to be in the world. The person who's sitting on the couch and does nothing, they don't expect anything. Like, unless they're just delusional, right? The person who gives it their all, even if they don't get exactly what they want, they can live with it because they know they gave their everything. The most frustrated person in the world is the person who goes to the gym 3-4 days a week, eats right during the week, but goes crazy on the weekend, because they're still putting in that time, but they're not getting what they want. That person is
the murky middle.
Right, the murky middle, right? That person is infuriated. It's like, man, I'm doing the work, I'm eating right. But then when they really look at the math, it's like, oh, but on the weekends you're going crazy, right? You're only going to the gym 3 days. Sometimes you're missing it, and you're not getting the results because you're refusing to commit to it as prescribed. That's the call to action for 2025. Do it as prescribed.
Period.
Right? Don't remove nothing from the recipe. Don't make your own, right? Make it intentional until it's intuitive. Do what's required to get what you say you want for once in your life. Period.
Yeah, let's bring this to a business context, right? Because some people might be, checking their email, organizing their email. Yeah. They might be building up their sales copy. They might be making sure their landing pages is good, updating their website, making sure their product is really good.
New photo shoot. Don't forget the new photo shoot.
New photo shoot, new logo, drop it on social. They do all these, but they don't call the customer. They don't do the outbound call. Right. They never send the text messages. They never host a webinar. They do everything around what they don't, what matters most, because what is the hardest is what we most often need to do, but we avoid it because it's uncomfortable. So we do all these things and my business won't work. How many people have you called today? Right. Well, I didn't call anybody. So how are you going to get some clients and nobody know who you are?
If you don't have any clients, nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters. You're refining the product for somebody who's never going to get it because you don't even have anybody in your pipeline. So this could be in work. It could be in fitness. It could be like whatever. Just you have to understand the point that the magic you're looking for isn't the work you're avoiding, because in order to have something that you never had, it's going to require you to do something that you've never done.
Matter of fact, here's what I'm going to do so that it can be binary for you guys. Because I kept using the analogy of a recipe, right? We have this template that we give our clients called the Champions Checklist. What I love most about it when I created it is that basically on a daily basis, you can put in all the different things you want to do, and it's separated by categories. And you can mark it yes or no. And it's going to give you a grade. And at the end of the week, right, you're going to be able to see whether you hit the target, missed the target, or you exceeded expectations. Oftentimes, because we're doing stuff, to Carter's point, we got the website, we got the funnel, we got the photo shoot, whatever, like we think that we're successful because we did a bunch of stuff, right? But relative to what you needed to do, what you set out to do that was required to achieve it, you'll be able to see like where I stood, right? There is mastery and measurement. Okay, so if you want to be successful this year, you have to measure your steps, measure your progress, and I'm going to give you guys a free template to be able to do just that.
Cool. All right, ready for number 3?
Let's get it.
All right, this is more like that we can relate to. I don't know if everybody can relate to, but we can relate to this one.
Yeah, so, it can be a fly on the wall on this one.
Yeah. The biggest lever for growth in your business is on the other side of a few hard conversations. And your unwillingness to have these conversations are keeping you poorer than you should be.
Woo! That's boy, have we learned that lesson? Have we
keeping you poorer than you should be is crazy.
Poorer than you should be is crazy. You know, for those of you who are longtime listeners of the Melanin Money Show, you probably know that this chair over here that you cannot see used to be filled. Shout out to Jacqueline, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But as we continue to grow and continue to evolve, we realized that me and Carter's dynamic collectively was just a better fit, right? It's no knock to the third guest, but you can imagine if you start something with someone, that's an incredibly difficult conversation to have, right? Like we started this thing together, right? We've seen it in music and music groups and all the things alike, and we had to have that conversation, right? But the irony of that conversation is, before that conversation, we were having conversations around like where this brand could go, right? And we knew that we couldn't make those steps if we were unwilling to have that difficult conversation with our former partner, right? So when we did that, right, I mean, we don't have enough time on this podcast to discuss, the things that happened after that moment. But all I can think about as I sit here is where we would not be, right, if we didn't have that conversation, right. So I know they're tough, right,
but they call tough conversations because they're tough.
That's why they're called tough conversations, right? And me and Carter whether it's organically or intentionally, we make a habit of having regular tough conversations. I would say at least weekly. I mean, maybe they're lighter. I mean, they're just like kind of like whatever on a weekly basis. But I would say no less frequently than every other month. I mean, every other week, right? We're having some type of conversation that isn't like yo, bro, how about them Cowboys?
Which
is a terrible analogy because although we live in Dallas, we don't give a shit about the Cowboys.
I hate the Cowboys.
How about the Mavericks? But we make a habit of it because we know, number one, we both have a desire to grow this brand, this mission, this company to the moon. So if there's ever any friction, the chances are that the tough conversation is miscommunication. It's Carter grew up in the South Side of Chicago. I grew up in Charlotte. he's walking through life with a certain filter. I'm walking through life with a certain filter, and I see the world a certain way. He sees the world a certain way. And if we're misunderstanding each other, it's probably because we just aren't on the same page, not because we have character flaws or radical disbeliefs about what we want in life or this business. So rather than sitting with that and stewing over and wondering, like, did he do that because he owned blah, blah? No, we just say, hey, bro, like, I thought we was on the same page. Well, we are. Well, you said this. Oh, shit, you know, I didn't mean that. Like,
yeah, like when you texted me today and Siri got the thing messed up.
That's
communication.
That's hilarious. Yo, Siri, I got to get it. Speaking of which, Siri, I got to get it together with the transcript.
The transcript.
This is diabolical.
The hey babe was crazy.
Yeah. So I said, what I say, bro? I
said, hey bro, and Siri translated hey babe. I said, yeah, bro. You
said, yo, bro.
Hey, look, bro, I think you sent that message to the wrong person.
I was like, no, bro. Ignore the transcript. Listen to the message. But yeah, man. Like that is holding so many of y'all. Matter of fact, we had a client acquisition event a few months ago, and one of the gentlemen was like, he listened to one of our podcasts. It was a really important one. It was one of the ones where we basically told our story. Yeah. And he said that like
his business
it saved his business.
Yeah.
Right? Like it literally saved his business because it was a conversation. Because here's the truth. Sometimes avoiding the conversation actually seems easier than having the conversation. Like he was willing to separate ties with this person, blow up his business because that seemed easier than having that conversation. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
How many marriages, how many business partnerships, how many friendships end because the path to running away seemed easier than running towards it? Right? So here's another call to action. As we're very early in 2025, who's a friend, who is maybe a spouse, a business partner? What is a tough conversation that you have been avoiding for far too long? The number pops up on the phone. You get a little anxiety around it. Like, who is that person, or what is that thing that you've been avoiding for far too long that the weight would just be lifted off of you if you finally faced it? Because here's the thing. Let me give y'all an analogy. If I gave Carter 2 10-pound weights and said, hold on to these 10-pound weights, right? For the first 10 seconds, like, bro, you know who I am, bro? You do see what I curl, right? Then 10 minutes, like, oh, okay, cool. I could do it a little bit longer. But then 10 hours, like, bro, what you on? Yeah. We wouldn't make it to 10 days. But it's the same 10 pounds. Why is that? What I want you to understand is the longer you hold on to the weight, the heavier it feels.
Come on now.
Right?
Sunday service.
Even though it's the same weight. So that thing that you've been holding on to, right, it's going to feel heavier and heavier. And here's what you got to understand, especially if you're an entrepreneur. It is taking up space in the background of your creativity. You think you're avoiding it. You think it's in the junk drawer. You think it's on the side of you think it's the unopened mitt. Like, I'm telling you, it is taking up space and bandwidth for you to be the best version of yourself.
It's called anxiety cost.
It's called what?
It's called anxiety cost. I listened to the podcast a little while ago. It's the anxiety cost. The time that it takes you not making a decision that you think you're putting off because it's helping you in the short term. The anxiety of that decision is still in the back of your head.
Right.
And it's clogging up your mind on other things that you could be doing. Because every now and then it creeps up in the shower. Right. I got to have a conversation. Then you push it away. I got to do this. I push it away. Right. So it's actually just like we have opportunity costs, there's anxiety costs for not making or having these tough conversations that you know you need to have.
Here's an exercise I want everybody to practice. You know, like here's a trigger or a cue what typically happens. Typically when something's tough, whether it's a conversation or not, you'll find a distraction to avoid leaning into it, right? You'll start scrolling on social media because you got to do some deep thought work on something, or the call comes through and you don't want to answer it, so you avoid it. Like, whenever you get that feeling, my encouragement to you is to do it immediately. Stop whatever you're doing, because obviously it's more important and it's weighing on you. So I'd rather you address that and get it off of your table, or get it off of your desk once and for all, and lean into that feeling instead of running from it. I promise you'll have a much better 2025 if you do that.
Yeah, and like the thing about having tough conversations like the one we had to do with Jacqueline is that once you see the result of it, you start looking around like, okay, oh shit, like what other conversation I got to have? Because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have this, and that would have cost me too much. So like, what other personal hells am I living in today because I'm unwilling to have these conversations? So once you have one, you see the result, you start like, where's the next one? Where's the next one? Where's the next one? And you start having these tough conversations. Like, and like the best thing to do once you start the first one and you get it out the way, if you feel the weight come off, just go right to the next one. Go right into the next one. And you can do like 4 or 5 tough conversations in one day.
Yeah, matter of fact, list them all out. What are all the ones that you know you need to have? And just one of that. Maybe start out once a week, but then just like start having them, right?
Yeah.
Look forward more to unknown heavens than being committed to known hells, right? Like we hear all these analogies of like the devil that you used to. We end up adopting that, right? So be mindful of these mantras that you own because it will start to frame your belief system and have you stuck in places that you no longer want to be.
Period. And it will keep you poorer than you should be.
Big facts. Poorer than you. Let's circle back to that.
Yeah, poorer than you should be. Jesus.
If you want to stay poor, then avoid tough conversations. How about that?
Hate money. Okay, so number 4. Successful people see opportunity in every failure. Unsuccessful people see failure in every opportunity. Both are right, but only one gets rich.
Big bar.
So
big bar.
I think the best story I can tell with this one is I do my best to check my DMs. I don't get to all of them, but I check them at least daily, the ones I can get to. And every now and then I'll come across a person like looking for a miracle, right? Hey, Carter, like this is my situation, blah, blah, blah. I want to know how you did what you did, right? And I'll like take the time and say like 2-3 voice notes, like Instagram capture at a minute. I was like 2-3 voice notes. Here's what I did. Here's what I recommend you do. Do this, do this, do this, right? Send the voice note, boom. Then I'll check the response. And this happened like last week. This guy, it's a tough situation. It's not a tough situation. It's just a younger dude, wanted to pursue what I pursued. And I gave him like a 3-minute voice note of what he needs to do.
Yeah.
And then I got like a page of 4 reasons why that wouldn't work for him. And my thought was that you reached out to me because you like what I have.
Right.
And you asked me for my advice about the situation that you want to pursue. After I've already done it and got success out of doing it.
Right.
And then after I give you the blueprint, you tell me that it won't work after it just worked for me. Right? So we had the same opportunity.
Right.
But he saw more failure in the opportunity where I saw success in the opportunity. And what I told him, I just said to him, I didn't even send him another voice note. I said, if you fight for your limitations.
I knew you was going to say that. Yeah.
I said, young brother, if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them.
Big facts.
And I don't know what he said after that because I ain't opened the message again. But anyway, but like more people are fighting for why it won't work than why it will work.
I was literally, ironically, talking to this about to my wife earlier today, right? Because she's a little under the weather, and I was just telling her about perspective. And I remember like it was yesterday. It was Christmas Eve, 2015. A month before, like a little less than a month before I had my surgery for my spinal fusion surgery. And because I finally got the diagnosis, I finally knew what was going on, I got to leave the hospital. Because before I couldn't leave because they were like, well, we got to figure out what's going on. I got to leave. And then it dawned on me. This hospital was 11 stories high, hundreds, if not thousands of rooms. And as I was walking out, I was frustrated. Man, I'm about to have this surgery. My life's going to change forever. It's just everything's going to be different. God spoke to me. He said, but you get to walk out, though. He said, so many people in this hospital, they won't see another Christmas. Right? They won't leave this hospital. So whatever ailment, pain, whatever that you have to live with, you get to live. Right? And from that point on, it just gave me such a powerful perspective to always find the good in everything. Right? Like even down to the fact of somebody dealing with the same thing I was dealing with, I was able enough even back then to have at least the financial resources to keep digging to figure it out. Right? Or even have the mental acumen to not settle for what the doctors were telling me, right? So it's like, almost try to make it like an immediate ingrained practice. Whenever you have, because I feel like negative thoughts are organic or intuitive, but thoughts of gratitude are not.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be more intentional. So when that organic thought of woe is me or why is this happening to me, immediately choose to find an opportunity at that time. Right? So she had to get she had to try some medication that she wasn't a fan of. I was like, but man, isn't it such a blessing that we have the resources that whatever this is, that we can stop at nothing to fix it as soon as possible? Some people could know what their problem is, but don't have the means or the resources to fix it. Yeah. Right? So let's intentionally seek gratitude, intentionally seek ways to see an opportunity instead of an obstacle. The obstacle is going to be there, but man, this obstacle is actually making me stronger for the person that doesn't have it, which means in the long run, I'm probably going to be better at them. I'm so grateful. Give me more of those. Because the person who didn't have it, they're not going to be able to handle the adversity when it comes. Whatever it might be, like, you might got to get creative sometimes. I don't want to marginalize the circumstance.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to marginalize losing both of your parents. I don't want to marginalize having a life-altering surgery, right? But I do want to use it as ammunition to get where I want to go versus using it as a crutch to keep me where I am, right?
There's two sides to everything. And shout out to one of my mentors. He's always say this when we came to an event. There's no one-sided coin. There's no one-sided piece of bread. There's no one-sided sheet of paper. There's no one-sided, like, everything has two sides.
Right.
You have fear, you have faith, right? Like, everything has a positive and negative. What you choose wins, right? So when there's an opportunity, you can choose to see the failure or you can choose to see the success. That choice is yours. And what you choose is going to not only define who you are today, but it's definitely going to define who you are tomorrow.
Big fact. And if we're being totally honest about adversity and challenges and shortcomings, those are the people who end up later in life, the ones that win, right? We all went to school with the pretty boy in high school who got all the girls, who was super cool, or the super bad girl
who's overdeveloped at 16,
right?
And she was cold, man, and she was playing all the kids in her group,
right? Like we've all seen those people, but when we zoom out 10, 15, 20 years later.
Sorry, Olivia. You ain't the same. She ain't listening, but yeah.
The one that I had my eyes on, her name was Tiffany, but she actually reached out years later. I'm like, bro,
she went
playing out of your weight class. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, that ship has sailed. You had your opportunity.
Oh man.
And then you be grateful. Like that's what that turned.
That's what that turned out to be. Oh man.
Forgive us. We still got some work to do with us. But I lost my I lost my train of thought. Where we was going with
It's crazy how we still have the girl's name memorized.
I remember you.
But no, I think I tell people all the time, adversity is the greatest gift if you decide to open the package.
Come on now.
Right? Like it's like, I mean, no. Name me a successful person that hasn't been through something.
Right.
They don't exist. Because part of the reason they're successful, because they went through adversity at some point. Michael Jordan lost how many times in the playoffs? Like LeBron lost how many times on national stages?
Right.
And now he just passed everybody in almost every NBA category. Like, yo, you have to face some type of adversity. So when things get hard, get happy because you know that there's a reason that you're going through. Facts. There's some tools you got to add to your tool belt before you get to the next level. Facts. And it's just the more you embrace it, the better off you'll be.
And here's the truth: you don't get the rain without the mud.
Period.
Right? Like it doesn't happen that way. So these are all ingredients in the recipe of success, and this is how you're gonna have an absolutely amazing 2025. If you're willing to do it.
If you want to do it.
So I think those are some amazing mental frames. Carter, anything you want to add?
I had one more.
Oh.
Yeah.
My bad. I mean to rob y'all.
Yeah, this one is not, we don't have to spend a lot of time on. This one is actually, I didn't know we were doing it, but like we were definitely doing it. So let me just give it, and we can end with this. In the short term, your success depends on your intensity. In the long term, your success depends on your consistency.
Big facts.
Right? So like when we started business, so at least I'll say this. When I started making content, right, I had to be so intense with how much content I made. I'm talking, I was recording 4 times a week, had to post all these things. And like some of the people who I started out making content with, they were going just as hard. But when I look at where I am today on my content journey and my influence journey and where they are, we're at a gap. And it was because we both started out intense,
right?
But then my consistency is what allowed me to continue to grow. Right. And we think about the consistency is actually compound interest. So you don't need as much intensity at the beginning, right? When you're investing, you don't yes, you need a lot of capital. You don't need, but the more capital you start with, the better off you'll be. Right. But towards the 31st, 32nd, 33rd year of your investing journey, if you look at a compound interest calculator, right? You can put no more money in
and still be good.
Because compound interest is going to be consistent as ever.
Yep.
So like it's something and so as we go in this next level of our success, we just got to keep going, bro.
Got to keep going. Like Jay-Z said, like the genius thing that we did was that we didn't give up, right? Like you just end up outlasting people. Right? Like that's just what it like. It's not about I think Alex Hormozy said it. I hope I don't butcher it, but he was like, it's not about may the best man win, it's about who's the last man standing. Right? It's not about may the best man win. It's like who is the last man standing, and so that's what sometimes that's, or really most times that's what it all is, because it's like starting is so romantic. It's just like a relationship, the honeymoon phase, right? But who is going to stay in that thing when it's hard, when you're sick? Speaking of pocket, which I think we did earn that little bit of, we'll call it a hybrid break because we still provided the content. We just didn't show up. It's like, y'all, if y'all watch the podcast, y'all know since August of 2021 up until the last, let's call it 6 weeks of this year, of 2024, we didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
Rain, sleet, snow, hail, right? Just consistent. And, we want to make a public declaration that, like, the reason why we are going so hard is because, listen, we want to be one of the top 10 podcasts, right? Financial podcasts that exist, right? And we're doing that with our consistency, right? And we're doing that with our intensity in the sense of, like, we're putting our money where our mouth is by creating a podcast studio, right? But what carried us through this season of this last 6 weeks was our consistency. If we weren't so consistent since 2021, we wouldn't have been able to do that. To his point, right? So, like, it's almost like make the deposits when you can, because life is always going to withdraw and you want to be able to withstand those withdrawals. But if you don't make the deposits, guess what's going to happen? You go overdraft and that bank account going to get shut down, right?
Facts.
And they're going to report you. You might not be able to open up another one, right? So consistency helps because it helps you sustain through the ebbs and flows in life. We had a realization, I think it was, matter of fact, in the beginning of December, or maybe end of November, like, yo, we tired, bro. We've been on a 2-3 year sprint, not marathon, a 2-3 year sprint, nonstop, regardless of what it is. We gonna do it. We gonna get it done. We gonna show up. We gonna make it happen. And we needed that break, and because of our consistency, we were able to do it, and nothing broke.
Yes. Period. So guys, those are 5 mental frames that you can take into 2025 to change your life for the rest of your life. Let us know in the comments which one was your favorite and which one is going to help you take your life to the next level. Until next time,
peace.